Okay, mic check, mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear, see the screen, all that good stuff here. Mr. Blue, TradePhantoms. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, Donnie Footnote, Bucket, Dr. Julie Woods in the house. Our man, Joe Frank. What's going on, Sedmar? All right, cool, Mr. Blue here. TradePhantoms on this glorious Tuesday, March 31st, 2026, last day of March. 3 months down already, kind of crazy. And I'll go through live trading and analysis here, mainly morning prep. And as we're about 37 minutes sub, give or take, away from the market open. And if we see any trading setups based on the strategy, I will deploy that. That said, let's start off the dock here. There's a ton of headline news, as we should already know if you are just kind of living life. Things kind of going on in the world that is affecting markets, which is not cool, but it is what it is. That's the world we live in. However, being today, Tuesday, the 31st, in terms of planned economic news, we do have 9:45 a.m. Eastern Chicago PMI. Probably not going to be much of an impact, especially definitely low on the Potom scale there, or low on the scale there of impact, especially with what's going on in the background with the world. 10 a.m. Eastern, a bigger one here. I guess it'll be okay to say that this would be a higher impact. 10 a.m. Eastern, JOLTS job openings. So, that might play into some volatility as we 30 minutes after the open. So definitely just want to put a note on that if you have some open positions to potentially make some adjustments. Let's kick this off here as well. I'm just going to kind of bring, I know this kind of chart looks kind of crazy, but I got just the SPY here, just a weekly time frame here on the left. And I got a daily time frame here on the right. And I like to just bring this up every single session, no matter what, just real quick as a main backdrop. What's going on, Joseph Vardano? I see you, brother. Walter. Walaweezy in the house. Let's go, Walter. You're going to see three major colors on my charts here. Orange, yellow, blue. I color code these three major time frames: orange, monthly; yellow, weekly; daily, blue. Okay, so starting out, last week's high. Last month's high, last month's low, monthly lows, etc. Highlighted there in orange. Yellow, for example, last week's high, last week's low, highlighted there in yellow, followed by blue. For example, yesterday's high, yesterday's low there, highlighted there in blue. Here's a quick little checklist for the Phantoms team. We got bullish candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names, context, location being more important. So, of course, we're going to be looking for these in the context of uptrends, which we haven't really had at demand levels. Okay, looking for these prints. Bearish, opposite, lower, low, low, high, downtrend, structure, context, location, location at supply. Bearish candlesticks, that's the print there. And we got the liquidity map. Okay, we break this down a bit more further, of course. A lot more to this. We have advanced classes on this, but we have two actions, buys and sells, four possibilities. Everything's demand, supply, accumulation, distribution. So when you understand that at a higher level, you only know that there's really basically four possibilities, and you can be a buyer to enter, which is accumulation order, which you are bullish, and then at some point you would have to sell to exit. If we rally up, okay, into supply, for example, you'd be selling the exit as a distribution order from your buy enter. If you bought an enter and you're bullish and the markets are violating your demand level, for example, right, and you're getting stopped out as you should, you'd still have to sell to exit to realize your loss as a distribution order. Also, you can sell short to enter, okay, which is going to be bearish. That's an accumulation order of a bearish trade. And then now you are market participant as a willing buyer. Okay, if you are short, the markets drop, you'd buy to cover to enter. Okay, if you are bearish and you are short and the market rallies, well, you're on the wrong side of that. If it violates your setup, we have to buy to cover to exit to realize loss. Do you trade futures? Yes, I do. I love trading futures. I love futures. I love futures. In fact, I'm going to be doing a lot more of that to come, as there's going to be a couple of changes happening at Phantoms. So in a good thing, in a good way. So yes, indeed I do. We break this down into four quadrants: 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 and 2 are connected as an uptrend there. 1 and 4 are connected as a downtrend. Again, it's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get 30 minutes before the market opens. Definitely don't have enough time to go through that right now for sure. Speaking of futures, and I'm going to pop this open here. Just go to here's Thinkorswim, and just kicking off. I'll go back to the TradingView gray background in a moment here. A lot of notes on this, but I like to just come here to illustrate the four major indexes. Have the S&P futures upper left. We have the NASDAQ daily time frame upper right. Dow Jones lower left. Russell 2000 on the bottom right. What's going on, Dom DD? What's going on? That sweep of monthly low on NQQQ had to grab some Q calls before Barron took them all. Yeah, Joe Frank, we got, today's going to be fairly interesting. I actually have a position on from last Friday into this week. There's the expiration, so we'll see. Right now, we do have futures up. S&P is up 1.7%, NASDAQ up 1.4%, Dow Jones 1.7%, Russell 2000 small caps bottom right here up 1.4%. So we're catching a bit of a bid here, at least at the moment. Okay, this is I guess we can work off this screen here, but I've been doing a lot of the work over here as well, either or. So I'll just switch over here to. This will be a bit of a delayed data. I got to connect this over into Apex, but let me switch over to the S&P futures on this chart here. All right, just a weekly on the left, and I get a daily on the right. We'll get to work here in a moment. That we were talking about just really quickly last Friday into this week was this September low, and I think the NASDAQ futures is around the another monthly low down here as well, September low. Okay, and we had this kind of pinned out 63.71, and we kind of already started this on Friday, where I was surprised that we kind of swiped into a new on futures these new September lows. Okay, the S&P, SPY, SPX on Friday did swipe right below the September low as well. Okay, so I don't have enough time to kind of go into detail on this, but very powerful time frame in that it's the monthly time frame. Okay, and so far right now, this is actually creating a nice little bid to the upside for right now. Okay, so if we do map out, yesterday's low, just kind of steal a line here, which I thought I already did it. I must have did it in the NASDAQ. This is going to be yesterday's low. And we've already kind of swiped below that. All right, yesterday's candles, of course, right there. Okay, so we did, close there. This is S&P futures, by the way, daily time frame. Red bar closed there, close to lows. Another kind of red bar close and gap down. Okay, and we really didn't flush down as much yesterday. As you'll see, even on the SPX and the SPY, we did put in a topping tail here, and so far overnight we did flush below the prior day's low so far, and we're having an up bid right now. Okay, at least for now. Now we have not broken the prior day's high. Okay, so you definitely want to map that out as well, which is going to be this blue line right there. So this is going to be yesterday's high. So this is something that you want to reference. Okay, so it's still inside of the prior days, aka Monday's high. Okay, right now. We're going to drop down a small time frame in a moment. We're going to map out our Globex low, Globex high, and we're going to look for supply levels above the Globex high, which would be here. Okay, and potentially even above yesterday's high as well. Okay, we'll also map out in the event that we break the Globex low, which is all the way down here. In other words, if the S&P futures do make a new lower low, the only thing that I really see here is going to be, just putting it on your radar. There's a monthly time frame here on the left. Okay, let me just kind of copy and paste this line here. Especially during times of high volatility, you definitely want to update and look at the higher time frame. So this comes in as of the August low, which comes in at 62.39.50, and I'll just round up to 62.40. Good enough. And this is going to be an August low on the monthly. Okay, so I'm just sifting out. I don't want to spend too much time on this right now, but definitely want to sift out higher time frame levels below price in the event that we just kind of slam down into a new low. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you want to be prepared. This is going to be July's low, which is coming in at 27 handle, right? 62.27, that is. Okay. So just mapping that out. All right. Okay, so definitely want to 62.40, 62.37 here, if you will. Okay, now there is a weekly low down in here as well, which is 51 handle. So 62.51, that is. All right, now there's a bunch of open space over here. So, I'm not saying that this is going to fill, kind of all in one session, but these would be the bigger levels lower, and this would be a weekly low. So therefore, kind of just make that yellow. All right. So these are the kind of bigger levels that you want to be aware of in the event that we do fill the space. Now we do have a ton of stuff right below here as well. There's no weekly lows in here. There's one little weekly low, which we could probably, definitely should put on the board here. Which is right below the September low, but we already kind of swiped below that. Okay, so yesterday's low is kind of already kind of takes that into account. Okay, so there's just a bunch of daily lows in here that you just want to be aware of. So I'll make this kind of blue. Yep, nice cluster of monthlies, weeklies, Walter. There you go, brother. There's just a couple. Now I might be off a couple of ticks here and there. These are just a bunch of daily lows in here, which I'm sure if we drop down to a smaller time frame, okay, we can find some IBIs inside this level. All right, specifically what I'm looking at here is below what would be the Globex low. All right, we got this one daily low here. And we got another daily low in here. All right, so kind of creating this kind of zone here, if you will. 6.335, 6.313, give or take. Watch out for our liquidity sweep right below these areas here. Yep, JP Morgan caller expires today, 64.75. And that's represented right there. That's your JP Morgan caller right there. Bam. Look at you guys talking like pro traders. All right, and if you drill down to a small time frame, of course, we can drill down. Definitely don't have enough time to do that, at least for right now, to kind of refine these levels in here. But they've all been tested, so it's not super great, but we could kind of refine inside, okay, of these levels. This is a little nice one right in there. All right, if you haven't seen Mr. Black do his work on TikTok there, he does a great job at overlapping, etc. Now, in the event that we what we want to do here as well, in addition to everything that we just mentioned there, is map out our Globex high, Globex low really quickly. So here's our Globex low, the overnight session here. All right, so I just switched over here, 1 hour time frame of the S&P futures. And so far, this is the Globex high up there. This is the Globex low. We did already swipe below prior day's low as mentioned. Okay, that little swipe right there. That's noteworthy there. All right, people trapped on some new lows. Okay, and here's the Globex low represented by that kind of blue line, and then we get this blue line here, which I'll just represent that as the Globex high. Again, yesterday's high right here. Watch out for this little guy, bad boy right here. There's a drop, a basing in a drop. There's an IBI right above prior day's high, which comes in at about roughly perfect 6,500 even, give or take. Okay, so this could be used as what's called a G trap potentially today. Okay, so S&P futures here. Essentially 6,500, nice even number as well. Could be used as a G trap, which would be bearish. That would be above yesterday's high. Okay, if we rally up into supply. Also have noteworthy, this is a November low that's retested it. We broke it. We touched it. We ripped up to the upside, crazy. Okay, then we finally broke down over here. So there's going to be some levels up here as well. All right, there's another drop-based drop. A couple of them up here. Okay, team. So there's essentially kind of 3 price points here. Above price. Okay. And I believe this is also going to be a daily high, if I'm not mistaken. All right, this is Friday's high right here. All right, and that's essentially kind of the bigger drop mother bar there. So it'll be interesting to see how, if and when we get up here. All right, that would be a bigger sweep there, if you will. All right, I want to keep these lines on. This is work from Friday. All right, so above Globex high, there's some supply. Below Globex low, there's some demand there outside of the overnight range. You got NASDAQ. I got to do this a bit quicker. All right, we got, there goes the monthly, weekly specifically monthly. Yeah, Dr. Julie Wood or Julie Wood, yeah, give or take. It's essentially like the same thing, if you will, in regard to the institutional numbers. All right, swept below this monthly low. I'm over here on the left chart, monthly time frame NASDAQ futures. Be aware of this monthly low here next, which comes in at, this is August low. Might be up points here. Just moving fast, moving forward. All right, I'm already on a smaller time frame here. If we were to kind of drill down, it's all kind of blotchy here. But we can probably take a peek at that. I'm sure there's a daily low in there as well. Killing me, Smalls. All right, got this daily low here. Two 22822. A lot of twos there. Yesterday's low, you already swiped. So we get the monthly low, daily low, kind of below price. All right, we already swiped. This is going to be the Globex low in a moment, so I'll just update that. This is the overnight low. Here's the overnight high. All right, yesterday's high. Friday's high. I definitely want to put a note on Friday's high as well. Yeah, definitely some interesting what's going on, YT, my man, YT, man. Phantom, my man. Indeed, sir. You are correct. What he's mentioning there, those August lows are confluent with the 20 EMA. We get the 20 people moving average on the monthly. Okay, so we get a major mean revert happening on monthlies. Good job, YT. Here's a Globex high. Globex low's already down there, way down there. Let me de-emphasize these lines here. I want to keep these on. We're going to have a discussion probably tomorrow with the group from the Friday trade that we took last Friday. Here's the overnight session here. I'm going to grade that out for today. There's the drop-based drop, IBI level right above yesterday's high. NASDAQ futures here. You know, if you're bearish this market, this would be a decent little area to engage short as we rally up into supply. You got to be careful on new lows chasing price lower. The Phantoms members will know that. 23,650 handle comes in here. For potential G-trap short. What's going on, sexy T-Wang? It's just a sexy boy, sexy boy. All right, even above there. A couple of them, folks. So we got some supply overhead that we would have to, you know, for the bulls to come out and really play. They better bring some big bulls. All right, specifically looking at these drop base drops, IBI drops, right above prior day's high, above Globex high. T-Wangs. We got Phantoms members in here. We have too much fun ripping tape. Cool. So this kind of our, you know, by rule, You have to wait for below Globex low at a demand level to get long. You know, for futures, that would be all the way down here on a new low sequence. Market's going to open up in about 14 minutes. Never enough time to prepare everything, but of course, when the SPYs queues open, you just have to be aware of what we're trading inside of the opening days range. Opening days range, but overnight session. But maybe the SPYs and Qs or SPX might be able to have a trading setup right off the open. We'll see that. But right now, got a wide range overnight session. So in the event that the market, it'll be easier for the market to kind of rally up. Okay, to potentially, if long, take some profit if we happen to be long. Okay, and then it would be nice to potentially get some kind of short at some supply level above. Kind of transition over into the VIX. All right, well, I guess I can take a quick peek. Oil's hot right now, right? Almost kind of the risk proxy right now. Got monthly on the left, weekly here in the middle, daily on the right. So oil, not surprisingly at all, we kind of dropped down to the 20-pair moving average here in the daily. We got massive. Of course, this month has been insane with oil. Everything's kind of going on. Just massive spike up to 120, big pullback down to 77 handle. Okay, nice little rip, starting to base out a little bit. We had one big red day on the 23rd last week, and then we just had inside bar. But we've been holding up above that 20 and holding demand. So just popped out into a new high here. And we got oil down right now so far. Well, it's up actually, 0.21%, give or take. But it's on a bit of a pullback there. And so you just got to be careful with this market because, anything can happen anytime and just headline risk. But still same thing here in terms of process. Over here, we even had Globex low, Globex high, demand level right below. Didn't quite get there. This is all around the 20-pair moving average on the daily, hovering down here. But today's Globex low is here. Okay. And in the event that we do kind of break this Globex low here, we do have some IBIs. What's funny about this is the inverse correlation of crude oil and the indexes have been on fire at the moment. And so these are going to be kind of the equivalent levels. Below Globex low today, crude oil, I'm on a 1 hour time frame. Below Globex low, these are going to be the impulse where are going to be kind of confluent with the S&P and NASDAQ supply level above price. Okay, so as crude's coming down, all right, S&P's and NASDAQ will probably going up into their respective supply levels as crude is going into their respective demand levels. Okay, we talk about this in class where we have what's called positive and negative correlation. And right now, this is an inverse correlation, negative correlation where, oil down, markets up, okay, oil up, markets down, etc. But these are going to be kind of the equivalent levels into the S&P and NASDAQ supply levels. This is crude demand. All right, this is going to be, prime levels of demand that, we broke out, right? So we have supply here. Okay, we broke out. So there's going to be some nice little levels there. These are also developed during the regular trading hours. So 98, 80-ish, 97. Okay, all the way down to kind of 96. So it kind of overarched the whole 96 to 98 area there. There's two levels of demand that you could potentially engage into if crude is your thing. Gold is most certainly my thing. Still long gold futures. Swing trading this. I had to roll. All right, I'll talk to the group tomorrow in regard to this. There's a whole kind of setup there at that 40 to 50 level that I've been kind of harping on a bit there. Old now, but Globex low. Whoa, this is gold futures. Globex low here. Globex high here. All right, still bullish, right? And just kind of been on a grind here. Below Globex low, we have a couple of demand levels in here. So you can reference this. This is most likely going to be some kind of hit point. This has all been tested below, team, so just be careful with this. All right. This is not good for the swing. All right, above Globex high, we got some supply. Just be careful with this. This could, it's been kind of basing, kind of got like a grinded base. So, we're already above last week's high essentially. Okay, so we got only essentially one daily high here, a Friday high. We got another daily high here. Then we got this basing drop up in here. So, just watch out in the event that this does spike up into the 5,000, give or take, with especially with event risk. All right, so it opened up some space. To the upside there. So there's only a couple of hit points. up until we get into this level here, which is going to be the bigger supply level, closer to the 5,000 handle there. All right, didn't do as much as detailed analysis as I did in the NASDAQ and the NASDAQ and the S&Ps. All right, but that's gold there. And let's move on to the VIX. We got 9 minutes. Definitely not enough time here. So I'm going to move over to the VIX. Volatility index. And VIX up, market down, VIX down, market up. A lot more to this volatility complex here. Right now, as we speak, VIX is down 8%. And so, that's the thing there. So if the VIX is kind of coming down, it's going to be a bit more, at least bullish for the market, or at least, not going down as much at a minimum. I will say, no, is meaning Monday. Friday we ripped down on the markets and ripped up on VIX, but, we closed at about 31, which is slightly elevated. You can't downplay that too much. However, Monday, we did not make a new higher high in the volatility complex here. So it's kind of calmed down a little bit there. So even though yesterday markets did kind of eventually, make its way lower, okay, with a nice little trend late day lower, the VIX did not kind of respond to that. And then as you can see today, futures are up over 1% so far, and the VIX is down 8%. So pretty significant. Now, that's at least for pre-market. So we always want to monitor this, and very similar to what we just did in the S&P and the NASDAQ and gold and oil futures. Well, mapping out the overnight high, overnight low, we're going to do the same thing in VIX. All right, so I'm just kind of pinning overnight high is there, overnight low is here. And if this VIX continues, okay, to go down and remain down and, trend it down, okay, that could just, we can have an up day in the market. So even though, yes, war included, markets can have an up day. That's okay. We'll see. Demand supply always going to be a key factor. And so I just kind of pin the, where we're at, where I saw it last, which is essentially here. Overnight high, overnight low, different gap here. Okay, gap down overnight. And if we continue down, that could be more bullish again for the market, right? If we spike up and kind of trend back up, okay, and get back in kind of a bullish or upness in the VIX, that could be more bearish for the market. So opposite correlations there. All right, switching over to the SPY. SPY here. Weekly on the left, daily on the right. Specifically focusing on the daily. Okay. Yesterday, of course, yesterday's high, yesterday's low here. Red bar close here. We are gapping up. Okay, so this is a bit of a pro gap up in that we closed red bar close to lows, and we're gapping up on this. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to just continue to the upside. It's still going to be an inside gap, okay, within yesterday's high, yesterday's low. But there could be a little bit of pain from bearish traders who are bearish, and they maybe got in late yesterday or kind of half day from late yesterday, and they're going to be gapping up. So there could be a bit of a pain gap up on some of the shorts. So we'll see. Another thing that I want to just take away on this is going to be that we're gapping up about 1.12%. I'm going to draw the parallels to the SPX, and here's why. A couple things. We want to look for a market maker gamma exposure, which is a very advanced heavy topic, which we do cover at Phantoms. But not only that, in addition today, what's unique today is we have this what's called the JP Morgan caller trade that is expiring today. So I don't want to even get into that right now, especially 5 minutes before the market open. But what this is creating is a massive 6475 sold, okay, put wall for market makers exposure, okay, as JP Morgan is long this, okay. Now JP Morgan would prefer this to be above 6475, which is all the way up here. So I am going to map this out. Actually, I already have a line met. Now this is negative gamma actually, so I'm going to put that as a red line here. So this is a 6475, which is about roughly up here. And we're gapping up, what 12%, give or take. So that's going to be what? SPX implied open, 6415. So I already kind of zoomed in here. This is going to be the market maker gamma exposure here with a heat map on the left here. Calls in green, puts in red. Everything to the left is sold. Everything to the right are bought. Sold options create negative gamma, which is why you see red and yellow. That's represented by this heat map here. Bought options to the right are going to be providing a positive gamma, which would be blue and green, which you can barely see There's a little positive gamma node right here, 6445. Okay, but we're opening up at 6415. Okay, so that's about roughly about right here. All right, and as we can see, we have negative gamma above us. So in the event that we do kind of rally up, okay, that could kind of feed on itself here. I do want to map out due to this right side bot call and bot put node here, which is pretty. It's okay in terms of size. It's just this is so massive that this is so massive as an outlier. This is making this look tiny. But I definitely do want to map out the 6445, 6450 a bit above price, as that is a bit of positive gamma node, and because it's positive gamma node above price, that could be used as some supply. Okay, so I already have the red line there, so I just wasted about 10 seconds there. I can just copy this and put this at 6445, 6450, and furthermore, that is also confluence with essentially this Friday's open here. Okay, so I have this 6450 up here, and this is going to be a positive gamma node, which is one of the only things that we really have above price, other than the massive negative gamma node at 6475. Okay, but first this could be providing some supply slash resistance. Okay, and I believe this is also, probably Joe Frank is probably helping us out here too as well. This might be at or around area. Oh, I don't think it is on Friday. Let me see. This is within Friday's high. Is this going to be confluence with supply level? Regular trading hours high. Yeah, so this will be interesting here today. 6523. Actually starts at 6500, but this 6523 is getting a little bit better up here for a potential G-trap short. All right, so back to the SPX. We have that planned above price. And let me just look below price. Really, what yesterday's low is the 63.16. So I need to gather more data on this. Just want to take a quick peek. Basically 6,400. 6,400 could be a bit of a positive gamma node here today. Not a lot though. All right, I got to kind of move on. Usually I'll build like an SPX ladder here, but we're going to get the open literally right now. Ding, ding, ding. So it switches over to a 2. Switches over to a daily. Usually I would go over some gaps, inside, outside gaps on some mag 7. We have enough time on that. Let me see. Just pull the daily view up for right now while I'm here. Yeah, super thin below price on positive gamma. Apple is just insanely holding resilience. Let me take a quick peek at internals really briefly. Wicks on lows. Advanced declines extreme to the upside. Positive 1800. That's extreme to the up. Vol D extreme up. Extreme numbers. Too early for cumulative tick. And so far we got Meta. Negative game above. We got Meta. Netflix putting in a base. Meta giving us an outside breakaway gap to the upside. Tesla pro gap up, but it's still inside. Of yesterday's range. And Meta kind of cleared this supply level here. All right, so I'm going to lock in some Meta long calls, which would be bullish here. Just want to be a little patient with indexes at the moment. Meta's trading running up 554. So I'm looking to pick up the 30 delta on this. Good job, Team Wang. So if I were to pick up, say, the 560 strike call or the 562, lock in the 562. This is long call, day trade Meta. Copy this code, bring it over here. All right, we've got this in the other account here. April 1, 5, 6, 2 half. All right, Tesla also giving some decent little follow through there. Tesla and NVIDIA also giving us some decent follow through. All right, we can already start to TP some here. We got a retest level on the weeklies on the other side here. All right, so you can already start to begin to TP some Meta if you're in this. All right, so TP some Meta. All right, S&P's SPYs. Still kind of joshing around. The Mag 7s are looking okay. Mags had pro gap up. SPX equal weighted. A little heavy. NVIDIA giving beautiful follow through here. At least off the open here so far. Not bad here. We're not really aligned, but that's going to be hard. At least for the time being, to be so aligned. Let's see. So if I were to grab some NVIDIA here, pulling back a little bit, which is fine. Keep an eye on the VIX. Actually, Amazon is sneaky here. Amazon, a little sneak attack here. Long call Amazon. NVIDIA is decent too. It pulled back in a bit to VWAP here. A little bit in VWAP. This is Amazon. We're trading 206 essentially. I'll just pick up the 207, keep it simple. Amazon long call, 207 half strike. Now I got a new high here. So we got a TP. All right, got TP some Meta. We do that now. Long Amazon. All right, this is Amazon here. Make sure you TP some Meta there, okay? Then I locked in some Amazon here, right? We do have this daily high that we're extremely close to here. I believe this is Friday's high. So we'll see if we can try to like pump up here into, you know, that Friday high so we can potentially go on a take profit campaign here. Etc. So just make sure you get some TPs laid up here, okay? That is all. All right. Already hit some here a bit. All right, nothing crazy. All right, hitting some targets here on Amazon. Meta as well. About to fix a new high. All right, make sure you TP. All right, we got Meta new high. Tesla as well, looking good, juicy. If you caught that one too. This is going to be a Meta TP here. Nice and smooth so far. Mag 7's looking decent, at least for now. All right. 11 minutes into the open, and so far, not bad. NVIDIA did Amazon / Nvidia, Tesla. These are all looking good so far. There's Nvidia. Just another round of TP on that Meta. Let's see, Netflix. Yeah, Netflix is #1 stock right now at the moment on the mags. Not bad. Wide range bar off the open here on 2s coming out of a base. So a nice little follow through. So good job, team. Nice little out the gate open on a couple of these things here. All right. The annoying thing about where we're at in SPYs right now is we're approaching the prior day's high. So it's going to be a little annoying here. But so far, the bulls are trying to. We got VIX on lows. The bulls are trying to come out here and play a bit. All right. So if you are long, watch out. Just we got yesterday's high here. So usually, so it'll be at least be some kind of a distribution here. So just want to TP some here. What I would suggest. The Q is actually a bit stronger today. Qs are stronger a little bit, nothing crazy, but Qs are not at. It's relatively weak overall, but today is catching a little bit more of a bid than the S&P. Nothing to write home about, I will say. We're above Globex high. We're just kind of at this like shitty kind of retested supply level here. So you can see, just, make sure you TP those bullish exposures. Drop your size down a bit, of course. We got Amazon testing its view up. This would be a time where if you wanted to potentially add. We got VIX on. It's on an uptick off its lows. Nothing too crazy. But you can see that flip. So let me see. Where's Amazon here? All right. I'm gonna add it to Amazon here. Okay. Just the one that we're in right now. I already have it open here. On the video showing relative strength. All right, and I'm going to get long some Qs here. Let's see. So trading 566. Pick up the 568. Right, long call QQQs here. 5, 6, 8. Strike. Just for today's RDT. Grab this. I don't want to get too far away from me in the other account here. This is QQQ 658 long call here. NASDAQ. Bullish. NVIDIA new high. It was a good snag there. It was a good snag on those. Sure, just grabbed it. If you got NVIDIA, you got new high on that. It's following through better than the Meta in Amazon, at least at the moment. All right, bulls are trying to come out here, or at least they're trying to make a presence at least. Make sure you get some TPs laid out on Amazon here. That video would have been a nice snag. How you doing, Blue? I'm good, Dom DD. I'm good, brother. Bro, stop relying on picks. Learn how to trade for yourself. Y'all annoying as fuck with that shit, man. Learn the skill set yourself. Get off your mom and dad's tit, man. Now I'm not good. Bro, grow your ass up. Learn the fucking strategy and do it yourself, man. How the fuck you expect to be a self-made independent trader still asking me, can you please feed me? Be a fucking man. Learn it yourself. I've never asked somebody else, can you give me a trade, please? My balls would not allow me to do that. TP Amazon. Come in the trade room. Rip tape. Do it live. I'm not going to sit on the fucking Excel sheet. Yeah, fuck that. TP, rip tape live. TP Amazon. Stop fucking asking for, do it yourself. The whole point of becoming a trader is to be self-made independent. Be a fucking man. TP those Qs. I'm not a fucking signal bot. Real live trader. TP. Fuck a pick. Still begging for a fucking paycheck, bitch. Was that too harsh? Well, welcome to Wall Street, motherfuckers. TP some Qs. Fucking sunshine and rainbows. Not. People who come in this business, one of the biggest, baddest, most competitive business, acting bitch. Was it hurt your little ego? Well, guess what? You can't have an ego with trading and investing too. All right, Amazon looking juice. See? Nice little pop on SPAs, Qs, S&Ps, etc. All right, Amazon giving us a nice little equal to high here. We'll distribute some more here. Nice ad on Amazon, by the way. If you took that, nice little ad here, nice little pop. I'm here to train. I'm here to train people who are looking to become professional, consistent, independent thinkers and independent traders. I am not here to wake up and fill up an Excel sheet of like picks. This is picks. This is live trading right here. Fuck a stupid pick. Fuck a robot. I am a robot. Become a robot. You think Goldman Sachs traders wakes up and says, "Hey, what's my pick gonna be for today? Let me check my fucking Discord server." Fucking clowns. Goldman's too busy trading, placing orders based on strategy and execution. I digress. Meta equal to here. So all Amazon. Don't forget to bring a towel. Bucket. Amazon Meta. Make sure you distribute some here. Get equal to high. Meta will rip you when you're not looking. All right, make sure you distribute some here. And I believe NASDAQ is taking profit as well, or it should be. There we go. Hit NASDAQ as well here. All right, don't forget to towel on NASI. All right, taking some more off on NASDAQ here. And then I forgot to take some off here in Meta because I focused on NASDAQ. So make sure you take some off on Meta as well. NVIDIA, if you snag Nvid. Coming up into that daily high. So just make sure you go on a distribution campaign there. All right, not bad. Nice, smooth open. Amazon Ripper. Broadcom Ripper. Shout out T-Way. SPY's coming into Friday's high. Make sure you distribute. See that daily high there? Friday's high. Blue line. Simple shit. Execute. Blue equals daily. It's above price. So it's a daily high. So what is it? Oh, it's Friday's high. Okay. Buy low. Sell fucking high. Don't need to put that in the fucking Excel sheet. The fuck. All right, make sure you just went on a distribution campaign here. TP. I got to lock in some Amazon here more. Just kind of pumping there. All right, well, That's my time for now, folks. Only 26 minutes off the open here. Amazon, nice. Meta, nice. Q's, nice. And a lot of bad words, but I don't have time to sugarcoat. All right, make sure you drop your size pretty significant there, I would say. Don't forget we have some news coming up in about 4 to 5 minutes. Watch out for this SPX handle 6475. Roger, breaker. That's going to be an attraction point, give or take, on the on SPX. Right now, we're battling a bit of a positive gamma node. Okay, Q's at daily highs. We're a little bit above the daily highs on S&Ps. So make sure you're distributing, as you can see right there on Amazon. If I didn't just TP some more there, the P&L would have been a bit more different there. So hopefully I'll track it on that. If you're a Phantom member, great. You're going to have a ton of support in the with the crew. With the crew, we literally have professional traders now that have been trained for years at Phantoms. Man, warms my heart, puts a tear down in my eye in a good way. So you all will have some support there, of course. If you're like, damn, this guy swears a lot and this is not for me, that's okay. Cool, bye, see you. If you're like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? I don't know, but maybe you do know a little bit, maybe you know some, maybe you know a lot, maybe you know everything that's going on, maybe you don't know what's going on, wherever you are in the middle. If you did want to know or become part of the team, give or take, and certainly we're not for everybody, and everybody's certainly not for us. But this is where everybody has started here, TradePhantoms.com. New website coming soon. We got to give it to the, this is still like 1997 graphics here, but if you do click on register, I'll take you to this webpage here. Thursday, April 2nd, 7 p.m. Eastern. Name, email. If you put your phone number, I'm not going to call you. Mr. Black and Mr. Green will. You click this attend live. There, you'll get registered for about for Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, the 2nd, April. You'll be hosted by the Mr. Black or the Mr. Green. NVIDIA new high pop. Whew, nice one right there. If you got NVIDIA, SPYs, Qs looking to fix out and do high as well. S&Ps and NASDAQ, good to go. Mr. Green, Mr. Black, we'll kind of cover, first, what Phantom's all about, right? How we do things here. We're all professional traders here, right? Multi-direction, up, down, sideways. If you're just starting out trading for income, small account, all good. We have people like still in high school working this out, new highs, all the way to wealth management. You could be in the retirement age, which is all good here, managing long-term wealth, stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto. So all asset classes. Try to train traders to be well-rounded in all asset classes, not just one asset class, such as like futures. Damn, the video, what a pop. Nice one. Google as well, nice follow through. So yeah, we got some tape ripping today. So make sure you know what you're doing there. Protect your profits, but anything that you kind of took in here is looking pretty decent. NVIDIA being a breadwinner here. So kudos to anybody who kind of caught that. I got sidetracked with Amazon. NVIDIA is popping nicely though. It's going to be good for our Q calls, though, or NASDAQ bullish and S&Ps. All right, folks. So that's that. I'll see some of y'all in class today. Of course, today's Tuesday, so we got some advanced futures classes and futures later today for the Phantoms group. And, yeah, this is the place to start if you're new and you kind of want to check it out. All good. If it's good, great. Great. We'll shake your hand and welcome you just like anybody else. If not, we're not for you. We'll shake your hand as well and say, hey, good luck in life, and you're still a good human being. God bless. That said, I'm out. Make sure news is already out. Make sure you protect your profits, stay disciplined, and follow the tape. God bless. Take care. Blue out.